if they're elected, they will have a mandate. What will your approach be if you make it back to the Senate, dealing with key measures, including some of the controversial ones, changes to franking credits and negative gearing? Will you support those measures or will you obstruct?
No, I won't support them straight off, but I'll negotiate over them. On negative gearing, I'm at it quite plain. I was totally opposed to changes to negative gearing for some time until I got to Canberra and discovered there's some politicians with 30, 40, 50 negative geared properties. I think if they can come up with a compromise of, say, 2 or 3 negatively geared properties, I could support them. On franking, they've got a big problem because no matter whether it's morally right or they think legally right to change it, when you start taking stuff away from people that they've already been paid, when you start taking money away from people that they've budgeted for, and if you're a self-funded retiree and you're 80 or 75, you can't go back to work and you've budgeted for that. So I think going around the countryside, I've found that to be very unpopular. On penalty rates, I've come around and now support and have voted in the Senate to restore penalty rates. I thought at one stage in my early days that penalty rates for Sunday should be the same as Saturday, till I started getting mail and text messages from mothers and women who only work weekends or students who only work weekends who are losing like $85 a week, and that's not right.
You've called for mandatory nurse-patient ratios in aged care facilities in this interview, but previously it's a key thing you've been arguing for. So do you think that aged care workers, Derryn Hinch, deserve a pay rise, and should the taxpayer fund it, just like Bill Shorten's promised is the case with childcare workers?
No, I don't, because the problem there is that in a lot of the community nursing homes and centres I've been to, they're very well run. It's the commercial ones that already get massive subsidies from the government that I think are doing it for money. Now, I'll give you a quick example of this. The last time I was in jail, the average spend on a person for food a day is $6.07. Now, when I was in jail, my spend was over $9 a day and all the free milk you wanted. And one of the guys sharing my cell block, I heard him on the phone to his wife because he was making Greek yogurt. And she said, "How much milk do you use?" He said, "Oh, 9 litres. She said, "I can't afford $30 for milk." Now, when prisoners are eating better than pensioners, something is wrong.
I do love that you've referred to the last time you were in prison in this interview, making it my most interesting interview of the day for sure. Last time I was in prison, Derryn Hinch. Look, Derryn Hinch, I do want to get the mood of at least Victoria from you, because you're campaigning for a Victorian Senate spot.
Yes.
And we keep hearing that the Liberal Party, that the coalition is in massive amounts of trouble in Victoria, although latest reports are that race is tightening. What's your view from talking to voters on the ground, from travelling the state?
Okay.
Do you think the coalition's about to get kicked in the butt?
I think they are in trouble. Well, they got belted around with baseball bats in the state election. I think if they'd put Peter Dutton in as Prime Minister, they would have been treated even worse. It won't be. I still think it'll be a Labor win, but it won't be the 30 or 40 seats that people were talking about 3 or 4 months ago. I think Morrison has campaigned very well. I had a bet with one of my staff members the other day and said, I think it'll be 10 to 14 seats. This week I'm thinking it's probably 6 to 8 seats. So it shows you that the gap is closing and the Libs are closing. But I think you're going to see some pretty crazy results. I mean, Abbott in trouble, so that he could lose there. But I also think that Kerryn Phelps is in trouble in Wentworth. I think they've put their bats away a bit there. So it's going to be a fascinating around the country thing. But for me, I'm concentrating on, my side of my bus says unfinished business. Sick of them, vote for us. I'm just hoping I get back in and have another 6 years of it.
Now, we know that there are sort of difficult economic times that are about to hit. I mean, we keep hearing about these economic headwinds. So there may be a dilemma about the way to deal with spending promises if a Labor potential government can't get measures through. Should they prioritise a surplus? Because this has become an issue. Do you think that should be the focus of whoever gets elected?
Patricia, I know this sounds sacrilegious, but Joe Blow out there doesn't give a damn about surplus or deficit, really.
Well, they care about the budget being looked after and the economy being looked after.
They worry more about their electricity bills, which still haven't come down. Whenever he's talking about how they're going to get it down, they worry about that. And if the national debt is $500, $600, $700 billion, it doesn't apply. They don't think it applies to them. I know that's a sacrilegious attitude to take, but they're more worried about their private budget. I mean, who would have thought years ago that one of your major bills every 3 months would be your electricity bill? Never crossed your mind.
Well, one last question then, because you mentioned electricity bills, and I suppose the other side of that is that climate change debate we're seeing, and much talk about, you know, the decisive nature of this as being a vote switcher for some people. Do you think it is?
I don't think it is as much as people say, although it will be with younger voters, I would imagine. But I mean, I voted with the government in favour of the neg. I thought the neg was a good start. And then, of course, because of the pressures from the right of the government, the right of the Liberal Party, the Christensens and the Abbotts and the Abetzes, they dumped it. So, and Labor's almost the way you hear them talking now is if they're bringing the neg back. Go figure.
Go figure. Okay, Derryn Hinch, thanks for coming on.
Good to talk to you, Patricia.